Oh, hey, Doc. Say, what's this endotoxin stacking? And is this something I should be worried about?
Thank you for your question, Generic Rancher Ron. To answer that question, we first need to know what an endotoxin is. There are different types of bacteria that infect our animals that produce a compound that we call this endotoxin. It's literally a toxin. It causes toxic effects on the animal. That's part of the reason why the diseases that are caused by these bacteria are so potent, because of this toxin that's released by the bacteria. Now, some examples include pink eye, Histophilus, and Mannheimia hemolytica, the common name for Pasteurella pneumonia. So when we give a vaccine for these diseases, the vaccine companies do a very good job of making sure that that individual vaccine does not have a lot of that endotoxin in there. Now, in order to make the vaccine, if you're going to make it with the whole bacteria cell, you're going to have a little endotoxin. But that's okay for that individual vaccine. This is where the problem called endotoxin stacking comes in. Now, because one vaccine has an acceptable amount of that endotoxin in there that it's not going to hurt the animal, that doesn't mean as we add more vaccines, aka stack them on each other to an animal and give them all at the same time, we don't move that animal into a situation where there's too much endotoxin at once, causing a negative vaccine reaction. Because of this, we only can have 2 vaccines that would have an endotoxin in them at one shoot trip. This way, we're not going to overload that calf with too many endotoxins, so we have a negative outcome. Now, obviously, this may mean if we have to vaccinate for many different things that have endotoxins, that we're going to have to make some difficult decisions on how to set up vaccine protocols that are still effective, but limit the amount of endotoxin exposure per shoot trip. This is where it's really helpful to reach out to your veterinarians at Sioux Nation Ag Center. We can help you develop those vaccine protocols that get the vaccines into the calf that you want to get into them without having the negative ramifications. In addition, being able to do it in a manner that works for you. Because this balancing act takes a lot of effort and a lot of tweaking, call ahead of time. Get a hold of one of us here and we'll help you work through this situation so your calves are appropriately vaccinated. Because appropriately vaccinated calves are more likely to have good immunity, and good immunity is critical to feeding that bottom line. Now folks, in a previous video on this series, we talked about how giving a shot doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have immunity in the animal, and it was wrapped in the context of what kind of vaccination works better, an intranasal or injectable. Go through this series and look at some of these other videos, and we can explore more the different ways that vaccines can be used so the calf has effective immunity. Find them here on either our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, or ask whatever friend showed it to you here on their spare time on their cell phone and tell them to pull up the next video for you.